Hi, this is John. Judo, the gentle way, with the objective to throw an opponent, immobilize them with a pin, or force an opponent to submit with a joint lock or a choke. It's a very popular Olympic martial art, and those who knows Judo all know about the founder, Kano Jigoro. But during my studies and researches, I realized how familiar the philosophic principles are between Judo and Taoism. Soft and fair goes far. Willows are weak, yet they bind otherward. I became curious about the origin of Judo. The first thing I found is a Kitoryu Kempo monument located in Atago Shrine in Tokyo. The first line stated the origin of Kitoryu Jiu-Jitsu. The transmission of this fist art began with Genpin, a man from the Ming Dynasty who naturalized as a Japanese citizen. The name Kito originated from Mr. Fukuno, and it was completed during the time of Mr. Terada. So where should Kitoryu Jiu-Jitsu be located in the history of Judo? I found out this diagram. Let's have a look. Kano Jigoro, the founder of Judo, was a master in Tenjin Shinryu and Kitoryu Jiu-Jitsu. Tenjin Shinryu was known for its ground techniques, newaza, the pinning techniques, osaekomi waza, the chokes, shimewaza, and the joint locks, kansetsu waza. Kitoryu, which was mentioned earlier, honored Genpin for its founding, was famous for its throwing techniques, nagewaza. Kano Jigoro spoke of the origins of Jiu-Jitsu in his book Mind Over Muscle, Juyoku, Go or Setsu. By all accounts, it is unlikely that Genpin had any special connection with the origin of Jiu-Jitsu. However, I do not believe there was no connection at all. It is quite plausible he explained a number of Kempo techniques to Fukuno, Miura, and Isogai, passed on some other knowledge, and held enlightening discussions that motivated them in training. At that time, saying one had heard or learned something from a Chinese was like saying one had heard or learned something from a Westerner today. It was more likely to have been deemed worthy of respect. Same respect has been paid through a lot of Judo and Jiu-Jitsu documents, like this pedigree of Miura-ryu Jiu-Jitsu and Ryōishin-to-ryu, which is Fukuno-ryu, in this Judo guide by Hajime Isogai, who was known being the father of Newaza, Kodokan Tenstan Judo master, Hanshi. Who was this respectable inspirer, Genpin? I collected all the materials I can get about him. In the year of 1626, while Genpin guestly stayed at Kokushoji Temple, Tokyo, which was burnt down by the Edo fire in 1657, he introduced Chinese martial arts he learned from Shaolin Temple and wrestling techniques from Ming Dynasty to the monks and all the martial artists that came interested in learning. Among those students, there were the three Ronins, Fukuno, Miura, and Isogai. Qing's Shaolin Temple knowledge formed his teaching of Atemi Kappo, which means the striking to the critical points of the body, familiar to Chinese acupressure. The Ming wrestling was the official arresting techniques that were widely used when Qing was back in Ming China. Qing's teachings inspired the martial artists quite a bit. That Fukuno finally founded his Kitoryu. Qing's stay in the Kokushoji Temple was but a year. He couldn't have invented Jiu-Jitsu, but rather inspired and completed it. I became even more curious about this man, Genpin. What kind of talent he is to have helped improve Jiu-Jitsu and left so much impact for just 1 year of communications and teachings around Japanese martial artists. So the study goes on. Though very little known in China, there are still a few scholars' works about Qing, and they literally blew my mind. Our fellow Qing Genpin was not only the inspirer of Jiu-Jitsu, he was a martial artist, poet, writer, calligrapher, and potter. He met the Tokugawa Ieyasu in person and assisted his son, Tokugawa Yoshinao, as a Confucian official. He spread a wide range of Chinese cultural knowledge in Japan, including literature, Taoist philosophy, that's why Judo and Jiu-Jitsu is so compatible with Taoism, martial arts, medicine, pottery, architecture, and so on. What kind of human being is this? How can one be so all-rounded? That's what we used to call a Renaissance man already. It was a feast on my curiosity about this gorgeous history, just when I was still unsatisfied, wanting to explore more. I found out the saddest things. These scholars that studied Qing were mostly deceased, and not very long ago. It was a great pity because I could have visited some of them had I been into this study earlier. However, as Jiu-Jitsu and Judo have been developing through the years, the academic area is blooming with more young scholars that are digging out information and knowledge from the past too. Please subscribe, and I'll take you on my trip to further and deeper studies soon. And please let me know your doubts and feel free to discuss with me. Thank you.